Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Off the Board. I have actually stepped away from Off the Board for a couple months, but I am back and I am excited to be here. So I chose this pin off my Pinterest board and it kind of led me to using this cut file that I had in my stash, and it just the overall spiky feel of the circular, like the circle with the spikes on it, is really what spoke to me. So I decided to trace the inside line of the cut file, and then as you can see here, I'm just dabbing a little bit of the Dylusions ink in fresh lime, and I am dabbing it just on the outside of that circle because I don't really want the color to show on the inside of my cut file. I just want those really vibrant green splashes to show coming out from behind the black burst. Hopefully that makes some sense. I'm just using some close to my heart cardstock, and the ink does not soak in right away, so that does help. And I'm just using a bendy straw. Nothing fancy here. You could use one of the the ink tool that you use with alcohol inks. It has like the bulb on the end, and you squeeze it and it blows air. You could use a heat tool might work. I don't know, maybe a hair dryer, but you might get way more air than you want and a lot less control. So this is a pretty controlled way, and it's very low cost. It does take a little bit of lung strength, but you know, it's not bad. You can take your time, and you can kind of control a little bit of where the air is going. And I apologize that my head is in the screen when I actually do the blowing, but that's really the only way because my straw was not much, wasn't quite long enough for me to get my head out of the way. So again, I'm just dabbing in a few areas that didn't get as much ink as I thought I wanted, and blowing again. And it doesn't show up a lot on the screen, but in the close-ups you'll see that it does show up quite a bit, and I'm really pleased with the way that it came out at the end of the day. So that made me pretty happy. So I did decide I was going to take my whole paper, or my whole photograph, and I'm going to back it on paper. I'm going to back it on white paper, but I'm going to change that white paper to be kind of that lime green color. And so I have pulled an ink out of my Catherine Pooler inks, and I think I'm using Melon Ice. I will know that here in just a moment, but I'm pretty sure it's Melon Ice that I decided to use. Yep, Melon Ice. And the top of the ink pad for this one looks really yellow, but it is not. It's really that kind of limey color. And I really like the way that that looks. And I thought it was perfect because Noah's helmet is black and it's got lime green dinosaurs on it. And so his helmet also has those spikes on it, which is really nice that the cut file kind of replicates that. And that was kind of what I was going for. So when I saw that pin, I thought, you know what, that looks like that helmet that Noah's wearing. And those photos of him from Christmas time, he got that helmet from his dad's cousin, who is, they're pretty close. So he's more like a brother to him, I think. But and then that led me to, oh yeah, I do have that cut file I could use. So that's where my inspiration came from, and that's how I got to the point that I'm at today in this particular layout. So I'm liking the way this came together. He's just modeling the helmet in the photograph. He hadn't taken it for a spin. He did get a bike, and he got a little scooter for Christmas. And so he had a helmet from his previous scooter that he had been wearing, but this one is really more like a big boy helmet because it's pretty fancy. So I decided to ink up the outside edges of my entire layout, and then I did go around the edge with black just to kind of give it a little bit, I don't want to say a frame because it's really just the edge. I don't hold that foam at an angle at all. I just kind of get the outside edge, and same with around the photo, but it just helps things pop a little bit more. So I'm pretty happy with that. I thought I would call this layout headgear, and you know, I know that could be construed to be headgear like when you have braces, but I think it works for this layout, and actually I do end up changing it so it says hashtag headgear. And I like the way that it comes out, so I'm pretty happy with that. I did end up using 2 different fonts. I decided to use thickers. I had considered making my own today, but I decided, you know what, I have these lime green thickers, I'm going to use them, and I only had enough E's to make the word head or the word gear. Basically, I only had one E. So I kind of said, okay, well, one of them's going to have to be out of one thicker and one's going to have to be out of the other, and so this is what I thought worked well, and I'm pretty happy with that. So then I did go through my box of green ephemera and stickers, and I pulled out some tickets, some labels, and then I went through the gray as well. And you might ask why gray, because there is a big black cut file on there, but his shirt is gray, and so I thought it was a good complement to his shirt, and it's really just a lighter shade of black. So hey, I thought it worked well. I also kind of wanted something different than just black and green, because I felt, you know, I do a lot of monochromatic layouts, but I wanted something that was slightly different. So I brought in gray, which, you know, is kind of a stretch in saying that it's not monochromatic, but it just added a third color. So I thought that was just nice. And I like the way that it looks. So that little hashtag, I found that in my gray bin. I did ink it up a little bit with black to kind of darken it. My black sponge on my dauber is not really saturated. Well, it's very saturated, but let's be real, it's dry. So it doesn't have a lot of ink on it. So when you go over the top of something, it kind of just darkens it a little. It doesn't really like put a thick layer of black on. Like if I had maybe rubbed my Catherine Pooler ink pad, which is super juicy on it. So I kind of keep it that way on purpose, because I like just a light detailing of the black, that smoky black look. And then that camera, I believe that is from Cocoa Vanilla, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not really 100% sure, but it ended up in my gray bin because whatever kit it came out of was no longer large enough for me to keep kitted up. So when my kits get kind of smaller and I don't have a lot of stuff to pull from, and I just kind of dismantle them and put them into my color bins. And when I say kits, I only get a few kits here and there. And usually it's like a collection that I've ordered. It's not really a kit that is custom made or from a kit club at this point in my life. So I'm liking the way that camera's looking. I am also liking the way that those labels are looking. And I decided I'm going to add a couple more labels just to keep popping, creating more layers basically, and more interest. This gray arrow that I have, I'm going to tuck it behind that ticket at the top just so that ticket stands out just a little bit more. Brings in a darker gray up there and makes that ticket pop a bit. And I am inking it up with black. The arrow end of it is hidden behind the camera, so it really has no point. I really didn't that was just off the top of my head. I really didn't make that up ahead of time. My apologies. No pun intended. So I did pop that ticket. The top of that ticket, I put some foam under it so that it has a bit of dimension. The bottom of the ticket that's tucked under the photos is flush to the, it's just paper to paper, but then the top of it has that foam tape, so it gives it that just a tiny bit of added dimension. Now I'm looking for a little bit of interest over above the title here. I do have that other ticket, or the number end of it. One says ticket and the other one has numbers on it. So I'm going to use that, and I'm also doing the same thing where I tuck it under, but then the top of it is raised up onto some foam tape. I'm just using the cheap foam from Walmart. It is adhesive on one side, and then I just use my liquid glue, which is Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. It's my favorite, and it works very well. And then I am just kind of layering some other labels around that just so I have a little place for writing. I don't need a big spot for writing, and in fact, my daughter will probably write on this layout, and her handwriting is tiny compared to mine, so she'll have plenty of space here to write a little note that he got this from his Uncle Peter, and that he was really excited to use it, and it had dinosaurs on it, so that made his day. Now I'm just going to finish it off with some enamel dots from Gina Marie. and you can look that up online, and they're super cheap and awesome. And then I wanted to remind you to go check out everyone else who's playing along with Off the Board. It's a monthly series we do the last Wednesday of the month. And go check out Crystal at Pineapple Papers. She's the one that started it. And get a little bit of inspiration. I will see you guys again very soon with another layout. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.